cut motivation behind you, obviously looking to bounce back here, just with Boston in the building. Where's your head at? Where's the team's head at right now?
Great opportunity. We're in a good place. We've got a good team. We had a good competition with them in the Garden, in the Boston Garden, so that was good. So I don't know. We're home. We got our great crowd, and best team in the league. Nothing better than that.
That storyline that you mentioned, best team in the league storyline, is that something that you kind of like use to motivate?
I mean, it's just reality,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, they're champions. You have to respect that. I don't think they've done anything this year that's proven their own. Until someone knocks them off, kind of knocks them off. They're the best team to me. So you got to give them their due respect. And like I said, they're doing it this year again. It's a great test. Another kind of measuring stick for us where we are, and really can we bounce back from 2 losses, kind of our first adversity of the year. So be good to see how we react.
How do you just wrap your head around a team putting up 53s in a game?
I don't know. They put up 50. You play Charlotte. They put up 50. I mean, everyone wants to put up 50. It's easy to say put up 50. They work to get them. They have obviously great shooting everywhere. They got bigs that can shoot. It's not easy. It's a credit to them to be able to get those shots off, and they get good looks too. I think their shot quality is top 5, but so is ours. And we do it at what I like. We do it at both levels. We do it at the 2-point level, and we do it at the 3-point level. So, just fits their roster. Obviously, has been successful for them.
Tom, Kenny, as you said, this team stresses you on the perimeter unlike any other. Over the last couple of years, as we've seen the game change, do you see teams evolving defensively to better handle teams like this?
I mean, there are certain coverages that excuse me, limit 3-point shots, right? So, to me, you got to be good at those coverages. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but you have to understand that especially against this team, some teams you'll live a little bit with the threes. This team, it's tough because they're so dangerous. Then you got to know what type of threes are you giving up. Are you giving up catch and shoot, or are you giving up off the dribble? You got to look at those numbers. I will say, I think we held them to 41 threes. I shouldn't say this because they'll shoot 70 tonight. But we did hold them to 40. I think our strategy was right last time. And we did limit their threes. And at the end of the day, it's a little bit what you control. You control the amount of threes teams take. Whether they make them or not, I don't know. That's up to you to decide how that falls, how that breaks out.
Chris,
Kenny, how close is Dean?
How close is Dean? Good question. I saw him on court yesterday, sprinting up and down, moving well. I don't think he's gotten to the contact stage yet. So that means, he's getting closer, progressing. But I don't see him playing next game, if that makes sense.
And then for you guys, a lot of the guys have talked in the locker room about your defense is somewhat predicated on funneling guards to your bigs. Because you have great rim protection. But you guys are, top of the league, near the top in contested 2s per game, and you're near the bottom of the league in contested 3s per game. How do you explain that dichotomy?
Not sure where you're getting those stats. Because I think contested threes, I think I could double check it. I think we're 4th or 6th.
According to NBA stats, you're 24th.
Yeah, we get different. We have. Do you get second spectrum data? Get. Okay, let me check that. I didn't see that. And you know what, contested just means distance from the shooter, right? That's it. Hand, jump. I don't want to get into a big thing here. But like I said, what we want to do is protect the rim first, and limit free. I think we're 11th or something in amount of threes we give up. So, but I'm going to check you, Chris, on that contest stat.
talking earlier about different kinds of threes. Do you prefer off the dribble threes?
Yeah, I mean, it's just statistically better, but there are outliers. You have to look at each player. You know, what does Tatum shoot off the dribble? What does Derek? You know, what do these guys shoot off the dribble? That's part of your scout. It's part of how you're defending guys. It's part of your strategy. But globally, catch and shoots are a much better shot than off the dribble threes. There's only a kind of a small group in this league that are elite at off the dribble threes. I think you know who they are. We're lucky we got 2 of them.
What I really want to ask you is when you're going against really long athletic teams like this that can switch everything. These guys, OKC, even now Atlanta.
Yeah. How
do you attack that?
It's tough. It's tough. I think you know, playoffs come down to that. So you have to you know, it's kind of like you got to have a balance, right? Because eventually you got to find the weaker defenders. If they're going to switch, who out here is the weakest defender? How do we find them? How do we exploit them? But you can go overboard with that, because then you got, all of a sudden you're doing that all game, and Jared Allen's not involved, and Evans not involved, you know, because they put, you know, obviously they put their, you know, they're going to want your worst offensive players in the action. So does that make sense? You know, so it's I think it's a balance of finding their weakest defenders, but also keeping your flow and your pace and your natural kind of natural offensive movements. So, good question.
When it comes to Max's reevaluation, where is he at?
Progressing. You know, again, I can't, no timetable yet, but he's progressing quickly, I'd say.
And when it comes to a guy coming off the bench like Payne Pritchard, who gives up as many shots as some of their starters, how do you counteract that with some of your bench unit?
You got to find the matchup, right? Like, he's become an elite scorer off the bench. Basically won the Chicago game. I was watching that at home, and you know, that's a sign of a great team. They have guys that have developed where they can, if the main guys aren't having a great night, they can get it going. Add a Hauser to the mix. Peyton has obviously made another jump, which is you know, great for him, great for the Celtics. But now now when he comes off the bench, you're like, man, we better get a matchup on him, right? You're not going to put your worst defender on him. You've got to think you could have one of your top guys on him. He's playing that well.
Alcorn.
Kenny, I don't know how much credence you put in that first game, go back, look at it and so forth, but you didn't have Karras, you didn't have Isaac and Dean, still don't have Dean tonight, but with the return of Karras and Coro, how does that impact the game?
I mean, you know, Karras is playing as well as anybody in the league. You know, I think he's still leading, you know, the league in net rating or whatever, and whatever on off, all that stuff. So, you know, having him back is huge. You'd love to have a Dean Wade tonight, because those are the guys that are perfect for this matchup. 6'9.5" guys that can switch everything. We kind of all know it. So that's so we'll eventually get back, you know, with him, and it'll make our defense stronger, make games like this easier. But having Karras back and Isaac back, you know, big boost. But they're reintegrating, right? You're out. We got this lineup going now. All of a sudden Karras we just drove him in the other night without, you know. So hopefully game 2, he'll be in a little better rhythm.
Now the flip side is they have Kristaps back.
Yeah.
So
sure.
How does that differentiate how you might game plan then?
Man, you know, it changes a lot. It makes them more dangerous. They're even, what is it, like there's spread lineups and there's super spread. Like he's super spread, you know, and he's shooting from 30 feet out, and you know, it just makes it hard. Do you switch with him? Do you stay in coverage with him? It adds a lot of questions to what you're going to do strategically. We know what we're going to do, but you know, coming out, but you know, we have to be ready to adjust if it doesn't work.
Last one up front, too.
You mentioned this being the first adversity you guys obviously felt this year.
Yeah.
In these last couple of games. What do you want to see as a response from your group, or what did you see over the last couple games you want to clean up in particular?
What did I read? Somebody, I don't, it wasn't you, Tim, that wrote it. Someone wrote it, but when we make shots, we win. When we don't make shots, we lose. So if we don't make shots tonight, can we win? And really, you really kind of want to boil it down. That's kind of been the story, you know, those two games. I'd even argue a little bit the Boston game, you know, if your offense isn't going, and you know, Boston's a great defensive team, you know, can we grind it out? Can we you know, get back to leaning on our defense where, you know, maybe it's a 92-91 game instead of 117-101, you know, and I think that's kind of that's what I want to see from our team, you know, defend better when we don't make shots.